So, continuing with my Dark Brotherhood character. I'm doing the vampire side too, the Dawnguard quest, since there's two sides to it. One, you remain with the Dawnguard. The second, you choose to join with the vampires. A giant's bonfire, which is a giant bonfire. It's pretty nice at night.
I'll carve you into pieces!
Now you
That means it's 5 a.m. So, to a degree, it's one good way of telling the time. But it can be dangerous if you let your vampirism build up, because the longer you go without feeding, the more damaging the sun is to you. This is just one way to get to the vampire's castle. There are many more. You could always go a little bit further inland, but one of the ways I found, well, one of the better ways I found to get to it, it's definitely easier, is to follow the coast from Solitude to the castle. Skyrim, where even the rabbits don't care how cold the water is. Okay, I'm almost by the castle. And you can see it off in the distance now. I'm pretty sure some of the things are going to be roughly the same. We're probably going to need a Moth Priest, much like the Dawnguard needed. But I don't know about the others.
I see you have returned. Lord Harkon will be pleased. You met Stolf and Salonia, I assume? Lord Harkon and I suspected they might follow you there. As well you should have. Welcome to the politics of Lord Harkon's court. Vengalmo and Orthiolf both long for our Lord's throne, but cannot make overt moves against him. Each sought to gain power by
So,
using his
politics.
underling to kill you and keep the chalice for himself. By ensuring the chalice reaches our lord, you have increased his power over them, and at the same time, deprived them of their little pets. You've done Lord Harkon 2 great services. Take what you've learned to heart, and be careful who you trust. Now, I believe that Lord Harkon wishes to speak with you.
He's a good demon dog, you are.
Ah, you are here. Good. Yes, I did. When I told you that I was grateful for my daughter's safe return, I told the truth. But I did not tell you everything. Instincts and a cunning mind will serve you as well as blade, spell, or claw. Limits. Our great enemy is the sun. And until recently, it's an enemy we've had no way to fight. For centuries, I searched for an answer to this problem. I found an old prophecy written by a Moth Priest. Those scholars who read the Elder Scrolls. The prophecy tells of a time in which vampires will gain power over the sun and will no longer fear its tyranny. I believe the secret to unraveling that prophecy is written in Serana's Elder Scroll. I have ordered the court to assemble. I have a new task for us all to carry out, and that includes you. Come now, and hear my proclamation. Scions of the night, hear my words. The prophesied time is at last upon us. Soon we will claim dominion over the sun itself, and forge a new realm of eternal darkness. Now that I have reclaimed one of my Elder Scrolls, we must find a Moth Priest to read it. I have spread false rumors about the discovery of an Elder Scroll in Skyrim to lure a Moth Priest here.
Well, technically it's not
Now
false.
it is time to see if those efforts have borne fruit. Go forth and search the land for rumors of a Moth Priest within our borders. Look to the cities. Speak to innkeepers, carriage drivers, anyone who would meet a traveler. Go now, and carry out this task. This is my command.
You're welcome here. As long as you don't overfeed on the thralls.
Any idea how you're going to find a Moth Priest? Skyrim's a pretty big place. Well, back before the College of Winterhold was the first place I'd think to go for any kind of magic or historical thing. The wizards know about all kinds of things that people probably shouldn't know about. Actually, now that I think of it, I'm going to come along with you. I've been really wanting to get out and explore a bit. I mean, as much as anyone. Not a lot. You'd figure a couple hundred years locked away with one would have given me some insight, but no. Turns out you don't learn much from just sleeping with something. I guess so. That's a long story. I guess we kind of have to go way back, to the very beginning. Do you know where vampirism came from? Exactly. The first vampire came from Molag Bal. She was not a willing subject, but she was still the first. Molag Bal is a powerful Daedric lord, and his will is made reality. For those willing to subjugate themselves, he will still bestow the gift, but they must be powerful in their own right before earning his trust. The ceremony was degrading. Let's not revisit that. But we all took part in it. Not really wholesome family activity, but I guess it's something you do when you give yourselves to a Daedric lord. Well, you've met most of us. My father's not exactly the most stable, and eventually he drove my mother crazy with him. And it all ended with me being locked underground for who knows how long. It's definitely been a bad thing, on the whole. I will be. Just give me a little time.
Well, the fact that the first vampire was unwilling does make a bit of sense, given the character of Molag Bal. He's... Well, Cold Harbor and... Shoot, I forgot. I need to wait. Cold Harbor and Molag Bal are both associated with prisons.
Life here has many advantages. Don't you agree?
So, it kind of fits his theme. Probably waited just 2 hours too long, but that'll be okay.
Do you need anything, Theron?
What?
Can I assist you?
But there's two sides to vampirism as well. One is the disease, and the other is the blessing of Molag Bal.
Who's there? I knew I heard something. That'll teach you.
This somewhat happens on the other side as well. The only difference is you're attacked by vampires instead of Dawnguard scouts. Really, the scout made a huge mistake in letting themselves be known or seen.
You can't hide from it. You can't hide from it.
Actually, I'll use this. I need to work a bit more on my one-handed. As I was saying, there's two sides to vampirism. I guess you could say the blessing of the Daedric Prince Molag Bal, and also the disease. The disease is an after effect. of Molag Bal's gift that came afterwards. Since only those who directly have Molag Bal's gift or are given it through another person, such as another vampire lord, only they become actual vampire lords. Other people who are contract the disease, what happens to them is they just become the vampires.
That it? At your best? It's nothing.
Yeah, I'm not so great at hand-to-hand.
Must have run off.
And that's why I needed to work on it. Okay. Probably not a good idea to practice on Dawnguard. So I'm switching back to their bows and arrows now. They do have some guts though. It's not really a good idea to hunt a vampire at night.
Never should have come here.
Where'd you come from?
Okay.
That's the
So
last
they
of
can take
them.
me at full health. Alright. That's telling. They're a lot stronger than the bandits you usually run into. And I'm probably a bit on the low side with this character.
Who's there?
That's the best you can do.
I may have overestimated how much damage those crossbows do to vampires. Add some spells. So I got 2 tangos. And I really do need to work on my mana. We should handle them. All my damage is put into sneak attacks. So I'm not set up like my companion's character, who's a Khajiit, and built more for withstanding attacks and standing up to them.
Where'd you come from? Speaking of which, I need to practice my conjuration. There are a couple of things I'm working for, and that is twin souls, which will allow me to summon 2 of those at one time. Anyway, the quest I'm doing right now is for the Moth Priest. And this one seems to be in the other side. This is the starting part. You can ask innkeepers, people who run carriages, and you should be able to find the Moth Priest through that. Or you could go to the college at Winterhold, and that should get it done as well. And the reason I ask carriage people and tavern owners is pretty self-explanatory. They see people come and go, so they tend to get the most gossip. So if a Moth Priest is anywhere in Skyrim, they're probably going to be the first to hear about it. And they would hear about it probably before some of the court wizards and even the various priests of the 9 or 8, depending upon what you go by. And that is because of the secretive nature of the Moth Priest. Where'd you come from?
First place I'll try is here in Solitude. They're likely to have the information I need. Simply for being the capital. And if a Moth Priest, which is still aligned to the Emperor, is going to come to Skyrim, they are likely to come to Solitude first.
I heard you were at the wedding of the Emperor's cousin, in Solitude.
Yeah. That's an after effect of the Dark Brotherhood questline.
The Emperor's cousin killed. Right here.
Really, fortunately, the guards of Solitude would feel even more than that. They lose 3 rather important people in the city based on your actions. Well, 2 of them are based on your actions, 1 is not. That happens before this story even begins.
I've got a little work if you're interested, traveler.
When I pass the carriage, I'll ask the innkeeper first.
The Winking Skeever. Charming name.
Don't like those eyes you've got. There's a bad hunger to them.
Have I heard anything? It was the talk of the city for 3 days straight. Ain't too often we get a visitor like that. Oh, he just left a short while ago. He said he'd finished up his work and it was time to move on. That's all I can tell you. He asked me not to let anyone know where he was going. I suppose he didn't want the attention. It's like I said, I'm not going to talk about it. I can see that. He said he was heading for Dragon Bridge next. I hope that helps you.
Go fiddling with any locks around here. You're going to have a real problem.
Don't make comments on that based on your skills. If you do a lot picking, they'll comment on that. If your archery or you're holding a bow is high, they'll comment on that too.
From the castle, we used to just be able to see solitude over the mountains. That's exactly what I'd imagined.
I mostly deal with petty thievery and drunken brawls. Been too long since we've had a good bandit raid.
This part again seems the same.
There are dragons about, traveler. Be warned.
Your skin's as pale as the snow. You scared of sunlight or something? They say Falion of Morthal has studied vampires, Draugr, and all matter of undead. People say there's someone in Riften that can change your face, make you look completely different. Do you believe that? Yeah,
Maybe one of the guards.
Staying safe, I hope. Ah, so that was a Moth Priest then. He rode through town not long ago with an escort of soldiers. They didn't stop, just headed south across the Dragon Bridge.
So now a faction of vampires has taken over the Moth Priest, or taken the Moth Priest. And from this side it looks like they weren't aligned with the vampires at the castle like I originally thought. All of this is pretty much the same. Hold on, that's different. It's a different dog. Populated by Dawnguard from the looks of it. I would have thought that would hit. So at least one Dawnguard is probably a lot better. And I would guess pretty much in the same pattern as the vampires were. There's a troll. That will make things interesting.
Where'd you come from?
Now you're mine.
I was sure I heard something. Who's there? I knew I heard something.
Waiting for him to disengage. You don't hear fighting. Trolls down. So trolls are the equivalent in terms of having someone quite a bit stronger on their side, or a tank-like character. Something that can take punishment, that is. Although it's interesting that the trolls are weak towards fire like the vampires.
Those vampires put up a hell of a fight. You think they turned him?
I don't know. Maybe. Won't know until we get him out of here. I'm working on it. Now give me some silence so I can think.
See one tango on the other side. There's two of them at least. Good vantage point. Got him. If it's much like the other one, I'm going to need one of my abilities fairly soon, and that is called, and I lost that as a favorite because you gain and lose it depending upon how long you've gone without feeding.
But my master is dead, and his enemies will pay.
Where'd you come from?
I knew I heard something.
Okay, that's not gonna work. I was pretty sure I hit him.
I'm not gonna die like this.
And the power can only be used once a day, too. Fire on fire. Ah, shoot. And you really see how much fire hurt you. Should say you did. All the way back to the beginning. Okay, it's not too bad to get there again. Oh, they've got armor on. Should have noticed that before. That little dodge is pretty interesting. Sometimes they do it without even knowing you're firing on them. That just leaves the troll and the 2 vampire hunters by the Moth Priest. Even if you're confident, it's always a good idea to quick save.
Those vampires put up a hell of a fight. You think they turned him?
I don't know. Maybe. Won't know until we get him out of here.
How do we do that?
I'm working on it. Now give me some time.
I did it. And I still have my power, so... You've got to be kidding me. Well, that's why I have that load. One moment.
By the divines, it's as if my eyes have been opened. I am blinded by the light of your majesty. I must obey you. What would you have of me, master? Certainly. Where can I find this castle? I will set out at once, then.
It was rather creepy, but got done. And I'd better wait a day, since it's already 6 a.m. It doesn't bother a thrall, but it makes a huge difference to you. Must have got caught on something.